In our previous related to insurance, the important terms related to the insurance. These important terms are seriously required when you are talking about the insurance as a concept, because for whom we are taking the insurance, in what way we are taking the insurance, these all things are required to be understood before we go ahead. And that's why we finished off with those points in the previous session. Now, in the current session, we are going to focus upon the principles of insurance. In fact, for your kind information, the principles of insurance are not only important from the exam point of view, but also from the practical point of view. Because these are the things which affect your insurance policy. If you're taking an insurance, whether it is on life, whether it is on medical, whether it is on health, whether it is on the goods, any of the factors, if these principles are not followed, then your claim may get affected. And because of that, it is said that you need to follow these all principles related to the insurance. Now, of course, some of the principles are specifically applicable for the general insurance, but majority of the principles are applicable for all kind of insurance, whether you're talking about the general insurance or you're talking about the life insurance. Now, these principles of insurance will be important from the exam point of view also. You can be asked the short notes on these. Objective में तो कहीं पे कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. Or you can have a full long answer kind of question as well. Write the note on principles of insurance. There can be a kind of question. And in that, you have to cover all the principles of insurance. Or there can be a short note on either of the principle, or it can be asked in the form of true or false. So accordingly, these principles become important topic from the perspective of your exam as well. Now within that, the very first principle which is applicable for your exam, which is applicable in the concept of insurance, is the principle of utmost good faith. Now, what is this utmost good faith? When I am taking the insurance from an insurance company, I am expected to provide them every information related to that particular policy. The terms and conditions will be mentioned by the insurance company. But from your side, you being an insured, you are expected to provide them the thorough information about the situation, about yourself if you are taking the life insurance, what is your health condition. These kind of things are to be provided. In fact, the insurance companies have a kind of system now, wherein if you are taking the insurance up to a particular point, they do not ask you for the medical details in large context. But when you are taking the large insurance, like say 25 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore, 5 crore, where the coverage, the exposure, the risk factor for the insurance company increases. In such cases, the insurance company asks you to do certain medical tests. For those medical tests, you are not charged. You have been provided those medical tests free of charge, because the insurance company is interested to know what is your health condition. This especially applies in the medical insurance, health, not in medical and health insurance, but into the life insurance. In fact, there is a difference between medical and health insurance as well. What is that? I'll be talking about. But before that, so I am expected to provide them the thorough information about my medical condition, about my life condition. When I'm talking about the insurance in the form of general insurance, suppose I'm taking any mediclaim, I am supposed to inform them if there is any illness which is prevailing as on the date of taking the insurance also. Because if I'm not providing them the information, and later on if they detect that before taking the insurance this illness was there, they may reject your claim right away, whatever is the expense. अब मान लो किसी बंदे को कैंसर डिटेक्ट हो गया और उसके बाद अगर वो मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस लेने जाता है और बाद में वो कैंसर का ट्रीटमेंट करवाता है, देन इन दैट केस द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आर नॉट द फूल्स, वो लोग मामू नहीं है. Those people have the senses, those people have the doctors working with them, and that's why they can outright reject your claim. So that's why it is said that whenever you are taking any kind of insurance, provide the thorough information about yourself or your situation. Like if you are taking the general insurance in the form of fire insurance, अब फायर इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो और आपने आपके इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को बताया ही नहीं कि आपके पास फायर एक्सपोज प्रोडक्ट्स या आपकी सिचुएशन में फायर एक्सपोज ज्यादा है, in that case the company may decide not to give the insurance to you, or the company may ask you to pay the higher amount. There was the time when the people having the smoking habits were not given the insurances. But now they've brought the riders on that. If you have declared that you are a regular smoker, if you declare that you have the drink on a regular basis, you have the alcohol on a regular basis, then they don't reject your insurance, but they charge you the higher premium. They call that as the riders. For rider means the additional coverage for the given condition, and for that purpose they charge you the higher premium. तो मैं ज्यादा प्रीमियम देने के लिए तैयार हूं, ये पर मुझे पहले अवेलेबल ही नहीं था, ऐसा मेरे लिए नहीं. There are certain people for whom it may be applied. So that's what is the condition, that's what is the principle, the very first foremost and the important principle related to the insurance. Jay, there is no need to make comment, but everyone knows about it. In all types of insurance contracts, both the parties must have the utmost good faith towards each other. The insurer and insured must disclose all material facts clearly. Now, what do I mean by material facts? Material facts means the prime most important factors which may affect your insurance policy. कि जब अगर आपकी कोई सिचुएशन बनती है तो उस समय पे आपको क्लेम कैसे दिया जाएगा, क्या बेसिस पे दिया जाएगा. अब मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस में कंडीशन होती है. इफ यू आर गेटिंग हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड, सबसे बेसिक कंडीशन होती है मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस में, यू नीड टू गेट हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड फॉर अ मिनिमम पीरियड ऑफ 24 आवर्स. If you are not getting hospitalized for a period less than 1 day, then in that case you won't get that medical insurance, जिसे आप मेडिक्लेम के नाम से जानते हो. तो अगर आपको मेडिक्लेम कवरेज चाहिए तो आपको मिनिमम 24 आवर्स का हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन नेसेसरी है. इसीलिए in majority of the medical insurances the orthopedic treatment is not covered, because for the orthopedic treatment generally the hospitalization is not required. For the dental treatment the mediclaim is not available. In fact, if there is any kind of situation getting created out of pregnancy, that is also not getting covered in the mediclaim. Nowadays people have started covering the medical insurance for the pregnancy also, because that's not an uncertain event. Mind well, if you're talking about pregnancy, it is not an uncertain event, but that kind of coverage was not available. In the current scenario, in these days, even the medical insurance is available for such kind of things also. So point is very clear कि जिससे आपका इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अफेक्ट हो सकता हो, वो सारी मेजर इंफॉर्मेशन, इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन आपको डिक्लेयर करना आवश्यक है. The insured must provide clear and correct information of subject matter of insurance to the insurer. Subject matter मतलब क्या? जिसके अगेंस्ट आप इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो, जिसके लिए आप इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो, that is what you call a subject matter. तो योर सब्जेक्ट मैटर हैज टू बी एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर, उसके बारे में दी गई जानकारी पूरी क्लियर होनी चाहिए. Similarly, the insurer must provide the relevant information regarding the terms and conditions of the contract. कि आप कब क्लेम करोगे. अब जैसे मैं मेडिक्लेम के लिए बता रहा था that if you are getting hospitalized, the hospitalization of 24 hours is mandatory. ये अगर आपको पता नहीं होगा तो you will not be able to make any kind of claim. That's point number one. Point number two is that if you are taking the mediclaim, you have to lodge the claim immediately on getting hospitalized. Sir, ऐसे कैसे अगर मेरे साथ में कोई नहीं होगा तो? Then you will be required to submit your claim later on, that will get processed, and in that case your claim rejection chances increases. And that's why the moment you get hospitalized, they have the helpline numbers, there is something called as TPA, third party assurer. That is what is called as TPA, third party assurer. Now these TPA, they do not do any kind of TPs. टाइम पास वाले लोग नहीं होते हैं ये. You need to register your claim directly to the TPA. The TPA sends their consultant to you and starts processing of your claim from the point you get admitted. वहीं से उनको पता चल जाता है कि you are having the situation or not. Mind well, Atharv is saying that बहुत चालू होते हैं इंश्योरेंस वाले लोग, मस्ट टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस डाल देते हैं. नॉट नेसेसरी. Atharv, why they have put these conditions? You know that. Look at it from the practical point of view. People were not getting admitted. People were not getting hospitalized. They were just taking the bills from the hospital. They were having the tie-ups with the hospitals, and they were lodging the claims. Why the cashless settlement of claims have been stopped in majority of the private hospitals? One of the prominent reason behind that is this, that people were misusing it. हमारे देश में ये बड़ा कॉमन का kind of तरीका है कि आप 8,000 रुपए दे के एक 5 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस ले लो, मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस, और उसके बाद में आप उसके अगेंस्ट लाख भर रुपए का क्लेम कर लो. लाख भर रुपए में से आप 20,000 हॉस्पिटल को दे दो, 80,000 रुपए तुम रख लो. Can this be happening or not? To avoid such situation, to avoid such scenario, these kind of controls are put. If you look at it from the insurance company, this kind of control is required. क्योंकि अगर यही कंट्रोल नहीं होंगे तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी तो लुट जाएगी बेटा. Alright. So failure to provide complete, correct and clear information may lead to non-settlement of claim. मैंने जो पहले ही कहा आपको कि अगर जिस दिन आपने इंश्योरेंस लिया उस दिन अगर आपने रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड, इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड नहीं की, तो हो सकता है इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आपको गए इल्ले. दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग कैन हैपन. तो ये अगर आपको अवॉइड करना है तो इट्स ऑलवेज बेटर टू हैव द अटमोस्ट गुड फेथ. अगर पार्टनर्स में आपस में गुड फेथ नहीं होगा तो उनका सेटलमेंट कैसे होगा? करेक्ट और नॉट? Mr. Shantanu has not provided information regarding his heart surgery at the time of taking the policy. मैंने कैंसर का एग्जांपल बताया, यहाँ पे हार्ट सर्जरी का एग्जांपल दे रहे हैं. After his death, the insurance company comes to know about this fact. As Mr. Shantanu has not provided the correct and complete information at the time of taking the policy, the insurance company can refuse to give the compensation to his family members. Sir, insurance company को कैसे पता चलता है? Those kind of things are there. Mind well, the insurance company have got the systems. वो last medical reports मंगाते हैं कि what is the cause of death, and if the cause of death is that heart ailment, then in that case they will do this detailed inquiry into that, and only after doing the complete inquiry they will confirm whether the claim has to be settled or not. Right? So that's why the very first principle, very important principle, the principle of utmost good faith. The next one is insurable interest. आप जिस चीज के लिए, यस ऑफ कोर्स, आपकी गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट किस सिचुएशन में हुआ था? यश कुलकर्णी एज अ क्वेश्चन, सर वो गाड़ी को कुछ होगा तो वो वीडियो मांगते हैं कार इंश्योरेंस में। व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग इन द कार इंश्योरेंस स्पेशली, यहाँ पे तो बहुत ज्यादा आज भी लफड़े होते हैं। अंडरस्टैंड नाउ, if your car has got some dent, if your car has got some impact, if there is any breakage of glasses or something like that, what people were doing कि मेरी कार के दरवाजे को अगर डेंट हुआ है, उसको लगता है नहीं यार अब कलर मैच करना पड़ेगा, तो वो पीछे के दरवाजे को भी डेंट होना चाहिए, या फिर वो जो सर्वेयर आता है उसके साथ में सांठ-गांठ करते हैं, उसके साथ में टाई अप करते हैं, अ काइंड ऑफ कोलिशन फॉर डूइंग द फ्रॉड। और वो उसको थोड़ा सा पैसा दे के दे से कि तुम ऐसा लिखो कि ये पूरी गाड़ी की लेफ्ट साइड को स्क्रैच आ गया था, इसके लिए इसको रीपेंट करना जरूरी है, तो ये पूरी गाड़ी का रीपेंटिंग का खर्चा वो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से लेते थे। That's what used to happen. But now the insurance companies have started asking for the video to confirm whether what has been declared is correct or not. So it's a control on the people who have been put into the authority. इंश्योरेंस लेते समय वहां प्रोफेशनल होते हैं गाड़ी, दो they are not professionals, Jay. They are not professionals in doing the collisions or doing the kind of situations. वो एक्सीडेंट करने में एक्सपर्ट नहीं होते हैं. They are the expert in understanding what you have been declaring is correct or not. All right? See, सिंपल सी बात है, मेरा अगर इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस होगा, जस्ट इमेजिन दैट इज अ सिचुएशन, मैं अगर इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस कर रहा हूं, मैं तुमसे ले रहा हूं 5,000 रुपए, 10,000, मेरी गाड़ी का क्रेटा का मैंने 28,000 रुपए में इंश्योरेंस लिया है, 28,000 विद अ कवरेज ऑफ 10 लाख रुपीज। 10 लाख रुपए के कवरेज के अगेंस्ट कंपनी को कितना मिला? 28,000 रुपए। अब सपोज मेरे जैसे 1,000 लोगों ने ये इंश्योरेंस लिया, मतलब कंपनी को कितना मिला रे? टोटल मिला के द कंपनी गेट्स 2 crore 80 lakh rupees, करेक्ट, फॉर द इंश्योरेंस ऑफ 10 लाख ईच। 1,000 लोगों को अगर इंश्योरेंस किया, नो सॉरी, 28 लाख रुपीज इज व्हाट द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी गेट्स। अब ये जो 28 लाख रुपए या 28,000 नहीं, 2 crore 80 लाख, जो 2 crore 80 लाख कंपनी को मिले हैं, अगर मेरे जैसा हर बंदा इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के पास चले जाए, या मेरे जैसा हर बंदा नहीं, मेरे जैसे सिर्फ 50 बंदे अगर कंपनी के पास चले जाए और कहने लगे नहीं नहीं मेरी गाड़ी को डेंट हो गया, मेरी गाड़ी को यहाँ पे एक्सीडेंट हो गया, ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया, करते करते हर एक बंदे का ऑन एन एवरेज क्लेम 1 लाख रुपए का, राइट, जीरो डिप्रिसिएशन वाला, मतलब 100% क्लेम सेटलमेंट वाला। तो 1 लाख रुपए हर एक बंदा, 50 लोगों ने अगर क्लेम ठोक दिया तो 50 लाख रुपए का नुकसान हो जाएगा इंश्योरेंस कंपनी का। सो यू नीड टू हैव द बेटर, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ये नहीं कहती कि हम क्लेम नहीं देंगे, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी क्या कहती है, हम क्लेम देना चाहते हैं बट यू डिक्लेयर द थिंग्स राइट। अगर आप सही चीजें डिक्लेयर नहीं करोगे तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी व्हाई वुड दे बी इंडेमनिफाइंग यू, राइट? द इंश्योरेबल इंटरेस्ट मीन्स सम फाइनेंशियल इंटरेस्ट इन द सब्जेक्ट मैटर। आप जिस चीज के लिए आप अपनी लाइफ से रिलेटेड, अपने बिजनेस के गुड्स से रिलेटेड, अपनी प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड जिसके लिए भी इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो, उसमें आपका या आपके नॉमिनी का फाइनेंशियल इंटरेस्ट होना जरूरी है। Because if there is no financial interest, then in that case you won't be getting the insurance against that. The insured must have the insurable interest. अगर ये नहीं होता तो जनरली कोई भी व्यक्ति किसी के लिए भी इंश्योरेंस ले सकता था। Why the employers are allowed to take the insurance in the life against the life or medical health of the employees is because the employers do have the insurable interest or not. क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयर को पता है कि अगर मेरे एम्प्लॉय को कुछ होता है, then in that case I may be required to compensate that, or I may be at loss if anything happens to my employee. and therefore you take the insurance in the life of or in the for the health of the employees as an employer. Why? Because the employer has the insurable interest in him. If you're talking about the goods which are kept at the business, Athar, that's what I'm explaining. इंश्योरेबल इंटरेस्ट का ही मीनिंग एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं कि अगर मैं जिस भी चीज के लिए इंश्योरेंस ले रहा हूं उसमें अगर मेरा फाइनेंशियल इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, interest means I am getting affected by that, then in that case I won't be getting the insurance against that. I won't be getting the insurance because I do not have the direct insurable interest. किसी थर्ड पार्टी के गुड्स का मैं इंश्योरेंस नहीं ले सकता हूं. लाइक टेक फॉर एग्जांपल, I am having a property taken on rent. In that case, on that rented property, I cannot take the insurance. However, in that rented property, if I have kept certain furniture, if I have installed certain furniture, for that furniture, for those goods, I can take the insurance. But for the property, I cannot take the insurance. Why? Because in the property, I do not have the financial interest. But in the furniture, in the goods which are kept in that, I'm having the financial interest in that or not. तो मैं जब भी मैं टेनेंट करके होता हूं तो टेनेंट इज नेवर अलाउड to take the insurance. Jay, if it is a long lease, then in that case it is virtually your property only. Jay's question is, लीज पे लिया हुआ प्रॉपर्टी के लिए इंश्योरेंस ले सकते हैं क्या? Please try to understand. Do not go into the specifics. Try to apply the general rules. Lease मतलब क्या? You are having a property with you for almost of your life. That means it is virtually your property or not. And if it is virtually your property, in that case, there is a provision that you can take the insurance against that because you have got the financial interest in that. So you can have the insurable interest. जिस किसी भी goods, asset, property, individual में आपका insurable interest है, against him or her or it, you can take the insurance. Like I can take the insurance against the life of my children, my wife. Why? Because I am having the insurable interest in them or not. And that is why it is permitted. But if I want to take the insurance in the name of my uncle, that is not permitted because there is no direct relationship there. Did you understand it now? The insurable interest is applicable to all insurance contracts. It is said to have insurable interest as a subject in the subject matter when the existence of that subject matter puts the insured in the financial benefits. कि अगर उस पर्टिकुलर व्यक्ति को या उस गुड्स को या उस प्रॉपर्टी को अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम होती है, उसकी वजह से अगर मैं अफेक्ट हो रहा हूं या उसके अगेंस्ट मुझे फाइनेंशियल बेनिफिट मिल रहा है, तो आई कैन टेक द इंश्योरेंस अगेंस्ट दैट. Whereas non-existence of subject matter put him into the financial loss. So there has to be a direct insurable interest. A person has insurable interest in his own life and property. A businessman has insurable interest in the goods he deals and the property of the business. In life insurance, the insurable interest refers to the life of the life insured. Insurable interest must exist. Very important. Insurable interest must exist at the time of taking a life insurance policy. मतलब क्या? कि जब मैंने इंश्योरेंस लिया है तब इंश्योरेबल इंटरेस्ट होना चाहिए. हस्बैंड वाइफ का रिलेशनशिप है. माय वाइफ टेक्स द इंश्योरेंस इन फेवर ऑफ मी. इन दैट केस जब उन्होंने पॉलिसी ली उस समय पे मेरे में इंश्योरेबल इंटरेस्ट है. मान लो later on, suppose there is a couple and they get separated. In that case, you cannot say that there is no subject matter or there is no insurable interest. When the policy was taken, at that time insurable interest was there or not? In fire and marine insurance, the insurable interest must present at the time of taking the policy and at the time of occurrence of loss as well. ये बहुत ज्यादा interesting और important point है. क्यों? समझिए. When you are talking about the insurance subject matter, insurable interest, जब हम इंडिविजुअल की बात करते हैं तो इंडिविजुअल एग्जिस्ट करता है. बट जब हम गुड्स की बात करते हैं, जब हम प्रॉपर्टी की बात करते हैं, तो मान लो मैंने आज इंश्योरेंस लिया और 6 महीने बाद वो गुड्स बिक गए. In that case, the ownership of that property is getting transferred to someone else or not. And as the ownership in the property has got transferred, therefore there is no insurable interest at the time the loss takes place. So you need to have, जब आप गुड्स की बात करते हो, जब आप प्रॉपर्टी की बात करते हो, जब आप जनरल इंश्योरेंस की बात करते हो, अदर देन ऑन द इंडिविजुअल्स हेल्थ और मेडिकल सिचुएशन, in that case the insurable interest has to be present at the time of taking the policy as well as at the time of the loss occurring. Because if at the time of occurrence of loss it is not there, then in that case claim won't be there. क्योंकि वो प्रॉपर्टी आपकी है ही नहीं, तो आपको क्लेम कहां से मिलेगा? राइट. सो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, insurable interest at the time of taking the life insurance policy. Fire and marine insurance at the time of taking policy and at the time of occurrence of loss, both together. If at both the times it is not there, आपने अब तक गुड्स परचेज ही नहीं किए, तो उसके अगेंस्ट तो आपको इंश्योरेंस मिलेगा नहीं. परचेज करने के बाद लॉस होने तक अगर गुड्स आपके पास हैं, तो आपको उसके अगेंस्ट इंश्योरेंस मिलेगा. You understand this? Insurable interest means financial interest in subject matter. And the principle of utmost good faith, disclose all material facts clearly, completely, and correctly. Failure may lead to non-settlement of claim. All right. Next one, the principle of indemnity. Indemnity means what? To compensate. Indemnity is compensation. Now the compensation has to be to the extent the loss takes place. अब जहां तक बात बनती है लाइफ इंश्योरेंस की, तो ये तय कैसे किया जाए? And therefore the principle of indemnity do not apply to the life insurance. The principle of indemnity basically applies to the marine or fire insurance. Indemnity means guarantee or assurance to put the insured in the same financial position in which he was immediately prior to happening of uncertain event. You need to get compensated to the extent you have incurred the loss. जब लाइफ इंश्योरेंस की बात आती है, तो आप तय कैसे करोगे कि आपका एक्चुअल लॉस कितना हुआ है? जो सपोज द ब्रेड अर्नर हैज डाइड and his hair color has become black. We are not talking about that dye. So if the bread earner in the family has died, in such case, the principle of indemnity, how will you apply? कि वो अगर अगले 10 साल तक के जिंदा रहता, तो वो तो करोड़ों रुपए भी कमा सकता था, या वो तो कंगाल भी हो सकता था. So you cannot have that kind of application there. And that's why the principle of indemnity do not apply to the life insurance, but it applies to the general insurance. The principle is applicable for fire, marine and general insurance only. कि आपका मेडिक्लेम के लिए अप्लाई हो सकता है, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के लिए अप्लाई हो सकता है, फायर इंश्योरेंस के लिए अप्लाई हो सकता है, मरीन इंश्योरेंस के लिए अप्लाई हो सकता है, बट नॉट फॉर द लाइफ इंश्योरेंस. Indemnity means guarantee or assurance. To put the insured in the same financial position in which he was immediately prior. Compensation in simple terms. Compensate to the extent of actual loss. That's what is the principle of indemnity. It is not applicable to life insurance as the loss of life can never be measured in terms of monetary terms. Not applicable to life insurance. All right. In case of death of an insured, the actual sum assured is paid to the nominee of the insured. Actual sum assured मतलब जिस समय पे आपने पॉलिसी ली थी, उस समय पे जिस अमाउंट की आपने पॉलिसी ली, उतना अमाउंट आपको डायरेक्टली कॉम्पेंसेट किया जाता है when it comes to the लाइफ इंश्योरेंस. वहां एक्चुअल कैलकुलेशन नहीं किए जाते हैं कि इसमें कितने का लॉस हुआ. गुड्स में अगर आपने 10 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस लिया है और अगर आपके गुड्स का लॉस सिर्फ 1 ही लाख रुपए का हुआ है, तो आपको कॉम्पेंसेशन 1 लाख का दिया जाता है, 10 लाख का नहीं. बट लाइफ के केस में अगर आपने 1 करोड़ रुपए की पॉलिसी ली है, इन द इवेंट ऑफ द डेथ ऑफ द इंश्योर्ड, यू आर नॉट कॉम्पेंसेटेड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ द एक्चुअल लॉस, यू आर कॉम्पेंसेटेड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ 1 करोड़ डायरेक्टली. So that's the difference between the principle of indemnity and direct settlement of claim. So life insurance में you are given the sum assured, but in the other insurances you are given to the extent, the claim is settled to the extent of the actual loss or the sum assured, whichever is lesser. अगर आपने 10 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस ले रखा है और आपका लॉस 15 लाख रुपए हो गया है, you are not given the compensation to the extent of 15 lakh. Your compensation will be maximum to the extent of 10 lakh rupees. So that's the difference between the two. If the property is insured to the extent of 2 lakh and if the loss of by fire is 1 lakh, then the insurance claim compensation will be 1 lakh. But if the property is insured for 2 lakh and the loss is 5 lakh, then compensation will be to the extent of 2 lakh. So right on the point there, right on the point, sorry, that point is already covered. The amount of actual compensation is limited to the amount assured or loss, whichever is less. Compensation, amount assured or loss, whichever is less. Is it point right? So that's what is the principle of indemnity. Am I clear? The next set of principles on Tuesday. The next lecture will be on Tuesday. Time will be 7:15. No, 8:15 a.m. 8:15 को तुम्हारा लेक्चर रहता है ना रे? You've got maths lecture, right? 8:15. Yeah, tomorrow accounts test is there. Today I'm going to make the announcement of that. अच्छा, तो Tuesday का lecture I'll announce. मैं वापस कब तक पहुंचूंगा उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है